Hope you are all able to see. Now people are 40 in number. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is an array? Do you know what is an array? We'll see the theory part later. Do you know what is the array? Have you do you all know what is a list in Python? What is a list? Python list. I should not ask what is it, kada? So you all know how to use a list in Python. It's a group of elements, okay, and they can be accessed with index. Suppose L is equal to 1, 2, 3, L of 0, L of 1, L of 2. In that way, you have access to the list elements. Okay, you can combine more elements into a single data structure list. In the same way, we use arrays in C, C++, and Java. Array is collection of elements under a single name. It is a data structure in which you can store multiple number of elements. Okay, so in Java, what we have to do, if we want to use anything, we have to first declare it. Unlike Python, there you can directly write L is equal to 1, 2, 3. But in Java, what you have to do, that L is an array. L can store an array of elements. In that way, first you have to declare. ఎర్లియర్ మన పాత సినిమాల్లో టైటిల్స్ పడ్డం తర్వాతే వచ్చేవారు కదా, పలానా వాళ్ళు సినిమాలో ఉన్నారు అని టైటిల్స్ వచ్చి తర్వాత సినిమా వచ్చేది. ఇన్ ద సేమ్ మేనర్ ఇక్కడ కూడా నా ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ఇవి ఉన్నాయి అని ముందే డిక్లేర్ చేసి దెన్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు స్టార్ట్. దట్ ఈస్ ద స్ట్రక్చర్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ త్రీ ఫ్యామిలీ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజెస్. First you have to declare a variable and then you have to use. You should not use L is equal to 1, 2, 3 in Java. You have to specify first L is an array. Then only you can put values into it. Okay, that's the key difference between Python and Java. Okay, so first you have to declare an array and then you have to use that array. So array is used to store a sequence of numbers. Array is used to store a sequence of numbers. So before looking at theory, we'll see how to declare it and how to use it. And after running a few 1 to 2 programs, you'll understand the theory. If I go on reading the theory, it will bore you. Okay. So these points we'll see by practical, and then we'll read them out. Okay. So how to declare an array and all we'll see now. Okay, done so much here, but I'll redo before you. So how to declare an array? First, to declare an array, remember array declaration is a 2-step process. Okay, in Java we have only 8 primitive data types. So array is not a primitive data type. That means it has not come up with the software. You are creating array. Array is considered as an object in Java. Okay, it's not a primitive data type. Like how list, set, tuple are objects in Java, here array is an object in Java. Okay, so first array creation is a 2-step process. First you have to create an array name like this. Okay, first step is you have to create an array name like this. See, this is step 1. What is the first thing? Data type of the array. This is array name, and this symbol is specifying that this A is an array. Okay, even though I have declared this, no array exists. No array exists. I have just declared a variable in which I can store an array. Okay, so this is step 1, and step 2 is now the actual allocation of the array. Actual allocation of array happens with the keyword new. New allocates memory for an array. Okay, see, I'm doing something like this. Check out this. A. What is A? A is an integer array. I have declared in the first line. And what I am doing, I am using new keyword. Please allocate some memory. Please allocate some memory. How much memory I want? I want memory to store 5 integers. Integer occupies 4 bytes. To store 5 integers, I need 20 bytes. So please allocate 20 bytes of memory, and that memory address please store in A. Okay. So what A contains? A contains array of address of an array. A contains address of an array, reference to an array. Okay. So here you are declaring a reference, and now this reference is pointing to a physical memory. Okay. I'll show through it a picture. See, when I do the first statement, int A of 10, it will create some memory location to store address of an array. For the first step, it will not store anything. In the second step, what we are doing? In somewhere, I am allocating 20 bytes of RAM, 20 bytes of memory. That memory address is stored here. That is second step. Okay, step 1 is this one. Step 2 is allocating this memory and assigning that to this one. Okay, so this is the way how we create. Clear? So you all know that. Is there any disturbance? Is there any disturbance?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a two-step process, getting this reference, allocating memory and assigning that memory address to this reference. Okay. So array allocation is two-step process. This is called array object. Okay. And this element can be accessed as array of 0, array of 1, array of 2, array of 3, array of 4. That means within index I can access the elements. Index starts from 0, last one, length minus 1 is the last one's index. Okay. Clear? So ARR is a reference. It's not the actual array. It contains address of the actual array. Okay. So for more knowledge sake, I want to convey one thing. See, you all know that our primary memory is RAM. Do you know? Random access memory is our primary memory. 4 GB undi na system lo 8 GB undi, 16 GB undi ala cheppuntam kada. So that is RAM. Actually, that RAM is divided into lot of parts. Okay. One part is called stack, one part is called code area, one part is called data segment area, one part is called heap. In code area, program is stored. In stack area, local variables are stored. In heap area, dynamic memory allocation happens in heap area. In that way, that RAM is divided into lot of parts. Okay. This ARR is stored in the stack. Reference is stored in the stack. The memory is that means the physical object, actual array is stored in heap. Okay, this part is stored in stack and this part is stored in heap. Clear? This part is stored in stack and this part is stored in heap. Almost all objects in Python, Java, everywhere means reference is stored in stack, physical object is stored in heap. Okay, you should be aware of these. So in that way, you can declare an array. Clear? So to declare an array, I am writing 2 lines. These 2 lines I can combine in this way. These 2 steps I can combine into a single statement in this way. Okay? Clear? So an array reference is created. Later memory is allocated and assigned to that memory. Okay. See, here I am using int. What is this? This int is an array reference that can point to an integer array. What if I want to create a character array? So this C is a character array which can store 10 characters. Size of the array should always be an integer. Okay. But here these data types, what kind of element you are storing in that array. That is this data type. In this array, you are storing characters. In this array, you are storing integers. Here, I want to convey the key difference between Python lists and Java arrays. In array A, I can store only integers. In array C, I can store only characters. Okay. But coming to Python list, L is equal to 1, 2, 3.5, hello, anything is okay. Whatever you put, it will take. That means heterogeneous data items, different data items it is taking, but arrays are combination of homogeneous data items. Once an array is declared, it can store only single type of data items. Okay, homogeneous, not heterogeneous. Key difference between Java array and a Python list. It takes only single type of data item. Okay. So I have allocated some memory to these arrays. That means 20 bytes. Here character means 2 bytes, no? 10 characters, again 20 bytes here. These bytes are automatically initialized to 0. Whenever you allocate some memory with the keyword new is a memory allocation operator with the keyword new, they are automatically initialized to 0. That means if I print A of 0 here, it will give a 0. A of 1 here, it will give a 0. A of 2 here, it will give a 0. Okay. By default, array values are initialized to 0. Okay. So this is the way we declare. We'll see little theory and then we'll come to our discussion again and execution again. Okay. So arrays are built-in data structures that holds a set of elements of the same type. Okay. Set of elements of the same type. In the technical vocabulary, you can write homogeneous data items. Okay. Very useful. Without these, you will not write. You can't imagine Python programs. So very useful and indispensable. Okay. But few points about arrays are fixed length. That means if once you declare an array of 20 items, you can store only 20 items. You cannot store a 21st item. Suppose if you take Python, L is equal to 1, 2, 3. L dot append of 4 and it can append the 4th item also. But if I declare an array of size 5, I cannot put the 6th element. That is the main drawback of arrays. To come out of this, you have one more data structure called array list. We'll learn this in 5th unit. Okay. Java collections antaru. 5th and 6th unit are very crucial. And coming to the second important point about it is fast access. Suppose if you have 1000 elements, to access the 499th element, you can go A of 499. Just with indexing, you can access them. Fast access. Okay. List lo kuda alage pilustunnanu kada ani meeku anipistundi. But list lo when you say L of 499, that is a linked list. Data structures cheppinappudu ardham avutundi. First node ki velli, second node ki velli, ala 499 ki velutundi. Okay, it's a big thing. But in arrays are faster than linked list in accessing the elements. Okay. In array, you can store primitives or objects. In the example, I have shown that an array of integers, array of characters. That means array of primitive data items. Suppose if you have a student class or some dice class, some other object you have, string object, you can create array of those objects also. We'll see this in future, this point. Okay. And array index starts from 0. Okay. Array is itself an object. It is not a primitive data type. Okay. And C, if you take C or C++, how to find the size of the array? By using the size of operator in C language, we'll find the size of. Okay, but here in hello, any problem? Size of operator is used. Size of operator is used in C to find the length of an array. But here Java arrays are objects. So we can directly use dot length to find the length. Okay. So this symbol specifies that it is an array. So when we learned type of variables, we have seen three types of variables: instance variable, static variable, and local variable. Okay, class లోపల ఉండి మెథడ్ లోపల ఉంటే లోకల్ వేరియబుల్ అని, క్లాస్ లోపల ఉండి మెథడ్స్ బయట ఉండి స్టాటిక్ అయితే క్లాస్ వేరియబుల్ అని, క్లాస్ లోపల మెథడ్ బయట నాన్ స్టాటిక్ అయితే ఇన్స్టెన్స్ వేరియబుల్ అని, సమ్ డెఫినేషన్స్ we have seen. Okay, you can declare array as a class variable or a local variable or an instance variable, anywhere you can use. Okay, and size of the array must be an integer, that is int a is equal to new int of 5 and పెట్టాను కదా, that size should always be an integer. It should not be a byte, it should not be a long, it should not be a short. Okay, this last point you'll come to know when inheritance is covered. The superclass of array is object. I'll cover it later. Okay, so if I declare how many elements are there, 9 elements are there. If I declare 9 elements as an array, these are actual array elements and these are indices: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are indices. That means a of 8 means it will print 89. Okay, so a of 0 means it will print 40. What if I try to print a of 9? Can you say? పైథాన్ చేశారు, l is equal to 1, 2, 3 అని రాశారు, l of 4 అని ప్రింట్ చేస్తే ఏమన్నా ఎర్రర్ వచ్చేదా? Have you got any error? If you try to access an element out of the index, have you got any error? All are sleeping or what? I should take a name. Whose name should I take? తెలిసిన వాళ్ళు చెప్పేస్తే పాపం పక్క వాళ్ళని కాపాడినట్టు అవుతారు. Yeah, used to get an error. Do you remember that error name? Yeah, index out of range. So here also, if I access an element which is out of this range, see here the range is 0 to 8. If it is less than 0 or greater than 8, I'll get array index out of bounds exception. A big error. Error name is array index out of bounds. I'll show you with an example also. So this is the syntax how to declare an array: data type, array name, and this one. So here I type in now data type, array name. Okay, this is the syntax: data type, array name, symbol. Okay, here also you can put, both are similar. So this is data type, this is array name, and this symbol represents that it is an array reference. Okay, so this is an example. Int is int, an array name, and this symbol. Clear? So this is the first step in the array declaration. Even though the first declaration establishes an array, it will not, but the physical array actually does not exist. So to create a physical array, what you are doing? This variable name is equal to new. This new is very important here. New type of size. Okay. As a second step, what you have done here? Array name is a, variable name is equal to new. Okay. And here data type again, and here you have to specify the size of the array. It's your wish. Fixed size. Okay. So this is a two-step process. Clear? First one is reference, second one is physical array. Okay. So for the second one, this is the syntax. While writing syntax, you have to remember this. Ido pakkan pettukunte syntax raseyochu. Data type, variable name, symbol. Variable name is equal to new, data type, size of the array. Okay. So this is that one. Here type specifies the data type of the array, size specifies how many elements you want to store in that array, variable name is the name of the array that you have created at the back. Okay, so this is the complete example, declaring an array and allocating the memory. Okay, or you can directly write it in a single line in this way. Clear? So this is the way how we create an array. So whenever you create an array with the help of new keyword, they will be automatically initialized to 0. Okay. So this is just summary. What is first step and second step? Now we'll see how to access elements of an array. Okay. See, here I have created an integer array. I said that these things can be placed anywhere. Okay, both are valid. And in those two lines, I can combine into a single line. I said no. Int array new int of 5. That means how many integers I can store here? 5 integers. I have allocated memory with the help of new. So that means automatically the values inside them will be zeros. So this is an array of 5 integers. So I am printing all those 5 integers. First element array of 0, second element array of 1, last element array of 4. Okay. So we'll print and see whether it is printing zeros or not. So what's the size of the array here? 5. I am printing 5 elements. What is this? Okay. I thought I have written some story element. Array of 0. I have not written anything. Just I tried to print array of 0, array of 1, array of 2. No. So this is array of 0, array of 1, array of 2, array of 3, array of 4. Okay. Is it clear? Are you able to see the zeros here? Okay. Now I want to show you one thing. I want to print the 5th element. Is this actually exists? Array of 5 does not exist, but I am trying to print. We'll see what it will do. So it has printed array of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whenever it is trying to print array of 5, which does not exist, it has given an error. See the error? Error is also a class. Observe this error carefully. Array is also a class. Class is present in the package language. What is the error class? Array index out of bounds exception. See the name, how good it is. And I also said class names follow upper camel case. Every initial character in that word is capital. This is a class name. Array index out of bounds in exception. And what is this 5? I tried to access the 5th element. At which line also I printed, that also. At which line I got error, that also printed. And in which method I got the error, that is also printed. So in this way you can trace back. Okay, by reading at the exception, by reading at the error details, you can correct this. Okay. Now you have seen that how to access an array elements. But if I have 100 elements I want to print. Do I need to print from ARR of 0 to ARR of 99? It is long process, no? So you can access array elements with the help of a for loop also, that we'll see now. See this, I have an array and I want to print ARR of 0 to 5. So I have written a for loop here. Okay, for loop starts from 0 and whenever I becomes 5, I'm coming out. That means up to 4 it will work. 0 to 4. That means 5 elements. I plus plus or plus plus I. Both are same. until you are not assigning it to someone. It's a single expression, no? Okay. What I am doing, I am printing element at index 0 is ARR of 0. Element at index 1 is ARR of 1. In this way also you can access the array elements. Okay. So all are zeros because I haven't kept anything here. Okay. So you can access array elements in this way also using a for loop. Is it clear? Using a for loop also you can access the elements. Now we'll see one statement here. So at the time of declaration itself, I know the values of array. Many times we are doing like this, no, int A is equal to 20. What is the meaning of this? I am declaring a variable. At the same time, I am initializing a value into that. Okay. In this way, if you know the initial values of an array, I am creating an array to store these particular values. If you know like this, then you can directly assign like this. There is no use of, there is no need of new keyword here. There is no need of size here. Size is automatically determined by the number of elements you placed here. Okay. So A becomes an integer array whose size is 5. Okay. And dynamic memory allocation automatically happens. 12 is stored in the 0th location, 4 is stored in the first location, 5 is stored in the 4th location. Okay. This is an array literal. Literal ante constant kada. See, 20 is integer literal kada. This is an array literal. Okay. Clear? No need of new, no need of size. They are automatically done. Okay. Here also, what is the array name here? Capital A kada. So I have to change the name of the array here. See this now. So now 12 is the first element, 4 is the next element, and 5 is the last element. Okay. So this is how you can initialize an array at the time of declaration. Is it clear? Is this clear? At least type something in the chat window. Okay. Now we'll see one enhanced for loop. I said there is one variation in for loop, that is enhanced for loop. Okay. How we can use enhanced for loop here? Replace this here. So when I have taught for loop, I skipped this part. Okay. There is one more variation of for loop. This for loop is used only with objects. This kind of for loop is used only with objects. See the syntax of this for loop. For data type, some variable name, colon, here any object, array or any object. So we'll see what is the for. What is the syntax saying? Syntax in batti follow to write నేర్చుకోవాలి. Type some variable colon object name. I am printing int x colon. What is my array name? A. Okay. See here what I am printing. System.out.println x. See this. How it gets executed. This enhanced for works only for objects. Here the object name. Now I have an object in array object A which holds 5 numbers. And this data type, what is this data type? what kind of values are there in this object. Suppose this is a character array, I have to put a char here. Okay, and how it works. In the very first iteration, x is equal to a of 0. In the second iteration, x is equal to a of 1. In the third iteration, x is equal to a of 2. In the last iteration, x is equal to a of 4. In that way, it will work. There is no need to specify array beginning and array ending here. Okay, we'll see whether it is working or not. So first 5 lines are outcome of normal for loop, and these lines are outcome of for each loop. Okay, this is enhanced for loop, I said no. Clear? So this is simple to use, looks very handy, looks very short, very simple to use. But what is the main difference between these two? Main difference between these two is, I'll show you one thing. See, if I want to double the elements there, I can write like this. A of 0 is equal to double. How to double it? A of 0 into 2. So 12 becomes 24, 4 becomes 8. Those things I am printing. That means I am changing the content of my array. This is needed when we do some computation. But here, this is completely valid. And coming to this loop, you are no more pointing to a of 0. X means it is pointing to a of 0. If you do x is equal to x into 2, what it is doing? It is changing the content of x, which is local variable to this for loop. It is not changing the array. Okay, so these for loops are simple to use, but can only be used to access the elements of an array. But you cannot edit the content of an array. Okay, understood the main difference? So whenever you need to print the content, you'll go for this. Whenever you need to modify or do some manipulation with the array, you'll go for this. Clear? And now, see, here I'm manually specifying that my array has 5 elements. Sometimes I may not know that how many elements are there. Someone has given only array name to me. నేను మెథడ్ లో ఉన్నాను, ఆ మెథడ్ కి array మాత్రమే వచ్చింది. I want to print all those. So how to find length of it? A dot length. Okay, as I said, A is an object like list in Python. There L1 dot append, L2 dot extend in that way. Here also dot member. Okay, so A dot length gives the length of the integer array. Shall we see, is it running or not? Okay, even though they are 12, 4, 5, 2, 5, we have manipulated them. We made them as double. Okay, but the key difference here is, here in place of 5, I am not manually typing 5. This A dot length gives the size of the array. Okay, so shall we see theory again? We have seen for each loop now. We have seen how to access an array element using for loop, without using for loop. Okay, and we have also seen this outside the array size. What is happened? It has given array index out of bounds exception, and we have also seen this through practice. Okay, how to initialize an array during declaration. How to initialize? Declare it without using new and size. You can declare. So these 2 points also we have observed by executing the program. Okay, And we have seen the length also. Length is a final field of array. Okay. Length is always positive or zero. If your array contains nothing, the length is zero. If array contains something, it is more than zero. Length multi-dimensional arrays. Today we'll write few programs. So what's the first program? So write a Java program to find sum and average values stored in an array type integer. Okay, integer array lo unna values ki sum average kanukkowali. Okay, what is second one? Second one we'll see later. Anyways, question అర్థమైంది కదా? Now I want to read numbers from my keyboard. Okay, so to read numbers from my keyboard, I need to create one. I need to import scanner. How to import? See, I am writing the program from scratch. If you still have any problem, check the here. I have imported scanner. Now I want an integer array. I am declaring that. Okay. What is the size of the array? I want to give through program. Okay.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am.
My voice is breaking. Yeah, that is
Yes,
coming in a limited way. My net is limited or what? Okay. Anyways, I'll type the program now. Go through it. Okay. We'll see whether it comes or not. Otherwise, I'll connect to my mobile data. I'll type the program for the for these 2 to 3 minutes. We'll see later. Praveen, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. See, in one execution, I want to find sum and average of 10 elements. In the second execution, I want to find sum and average of 5 elements. So what I have to do? I have to read size of my array from keyboard. Okay. So I'm writing like this. System.out.println, enter size of the array. Okay. So I'm reading the size. Int n is equal to, how to read? Scanner object is not created. So scanner object will create scanner kb is equal to new scanner system.in. Okay. Now I'll read an integer kb, which is size. Okay. Now I am creating an array of n elements. Up to this point, is it clear? An array of n elements. Okay. Now I'll read the elements. It's asking me enter elements. Okay. So how many elements I have to read? N elements. I is equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. A of 0 is equal to all elements I am reading from. Or not. We'll see. I'll use for each here. So now it is asking for size of the array. I am giving 3. That means I can hold only 3 elements in my array. Okay, enter the array elements it's asking. I am giving 200, 100, 200, one negative value also I want to give. See, if I run again, if I give my size of the array as 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, it is taking 5 elements and my array contains 5 elements. Okay, so this is a program for reading n elements and printing n elements. But this is not my job. What is my job? What is my job? What I want to do? I want to find sum and average of all those n elements. So I'll do that. Okay. So whenever I want to find sum, I have to initialize that to 0. Okay. For int x in A, sum plus equal to x. Okay. So I'm not manipulating my array elements. I'm just using them. So for each is enough. Okay. So now I found the sum of elements. So I'll print the sum of elements. Sum is equal to sum. What's next one? I have to print average also. System.out.println average is equal to sum by n, or you can also use a dot length. Okay, this you have to parenthesize. Okay, Vansika, TV sound taggichu. Sorry, 5 elements. Okay, sum is equal to 19 and average is equal to 3. Clear? So we have written a small program to find sum of 5 elements and average of those. 19 by 5. 19 by 5. What is 19 by 5? It is 3 point odd odd. Kada? For that reason, an integer has come. Is it correct answer? It's not correct answer. How to fix it? By doing typecasting. మనం నేర్చుకున్నాం కదా టైప్ కాస్టింగ్. అట్లీస్ట్ న్యూమరేటర్ ఆర్ డినామినేటర్ ఏదో ఒక దాన్ని రియల్ నెంబర్ కింద కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తే దెన్ యువర్ ఆన్సర్ విల్ బి రియల్ నెంబర్. ఓకే, సో ఎట్ ద వెరీ ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్ యూ విల్ నాట్ గెట్ అవుట్పుట్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు try again and again. It's not like typing programs from your notes or somewhere. You have to try on your own, then only you can write programs. See, this is, you are getting fractional part also. Okay, so here we used typecasting. So this program I have written before you from beginning. How to declare a scanner object, how to read the size of the array, how to declare an array of n integers. This is a constant n value keyboard nunchi istunam. Okay, and how to read array elements from outside. Okay, and how to iterate that array and get my required answer, and how to print the answers. So this part is input, this part is processing, and this part is output. Okay, any program input reading, processing and output, no. So this whole part is input. This is only processing and output. Okay, and this is already 10:24. And write down the second program. Write a Java program to count. Sorry, sentence formation is not good. Write a Java program to find the percentage of even numbers present in an integer array of size n. క్వశ్చన్ ఎంతమందికి అర్థమైంది? క్వశ్చన్ ఎంతమందికి అర్థమైంది? You try to write this program. If you are unable to write, let me know in the tomorrow's class. Suppose if you have an array like this, okay? So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many even numbers you have? 3 even numbers. Okay. How many total numbers? How many you have? 5 numbers. So what is the percentage? What is the percentage of even numbers in these 5 numbers? What is the percentage? 60%, no?
60.
Yeah, that 60% I want to know. What is the percentage of even numbers you have in your array? Okay, so this is a program which is asked in InfyTQ exam, which is happened last month to your seniors. Okay, you can do that because you can read size of the array, you can read integer elements, you know how to check whether a number is even or odd. Okay, and count, increment a counter for every even number, and you do number of even numbers into 100 by the total number of array elements. That's all. So will you write it on your own? You write in your notes. Tomorrow I'll ask few people to show your notes. Then you can. Okay. Now go to classrooms, Google Classroom, and fill your attendance for today. Okay. So I'm keeping